So looking at Susie's face, we would probably find that the distance between her nose and upper lip doesn't fit the ideal norm. Okay, so I can hear people out there saying, so what? We all look different, nobody's perfect. This is true. But in this case, where I'm talking about the golden proportion as applied to facial features, it's more than just about beauty. Because, as it turns out, what we consider attractive is also what is healthy. So getting back to Susie again, how do crowded teeth relate to her health? And how did she get them in the first place? Sometimes I get parents in the clinic saying that crowded teeth runs in the family. It's genetic. But I think it's really important to recognize the non-genetic aspects influencing jaw and face development. Genetics is what gives us our teeth and a jawbone. Where the teeth end up can be very much influenced by environmental factors. And in this case, the environmental factors are the lips, the cheeks, and the tongue. It's actually quite amazing how much force the lips and the tongue can exert. It takes 1.7 grams of pressure to move a tooth. The lower lip exerts 100 to 300 grams, and the tongue a whopping 500 grams of pressure. So in terms of ideal environmental factors shaping our jaws and orienting tooth position, it's best to have a tongue that sits right up behind the front teeth on the roof of our mouth. Because when the tongue is up there, up behind the front teeth, it's maintaining the shape of the maxilla, or the top jaw, every time that you swallow. Your cheeks are continually applying external pressure to your jaw, and this pressure needs to be balanced by the internal pressure of your tongue. Essentially, the force from the outside needs to be balanced by the force from the inside. And it is this balance of forces which creates a nicely formed jaw, a broad arch in which the teeth can then be properly positioned. So what's up with our little Susie? Why are her teeth coming in all crowded? Or more specifically, why is her dental arch not forming properly? When we take a closer look at Susie, we notice she's a mouth breather. Now, in order to breathe through her mouth, she needs to have space for the air to flow through. And the way this air pathway is created is by having her tongue resting on the floor of her mouth. And because her tongue is on the floor of her mouth, it's not stimulating her maxilla or top jaw in the way that it should. So, people who breathe through their mouths have a lower tongue posture. The maxilla does not receive the stimulation from the tongue that it should. And because of this, a person doesn't attain the genetic potential that they were born with, because the upper jaw isn't receiving the assistance it needs from the tongue posture. There's many other features which are associated with mouth breathing and poor oral posture, including receding lower jaw, which is not very attractive, short upper lip, an inability to properly close the lips, a high vaulted upper arch, which can lead to a deviated septum, difficulty in swallowing because the tongue is not properly positioned, chronic ear aches, recurrent throat infections, fatigue, poor concentration in school, allergic shiners, which are those dark circles under the eyes from poor oxygenation of the tissues, and the list goes on. But what it comes down to is that we're designed as humans to breathe through our noses. And if we don't, we end up with all kinds of physical problems. Not only do our face and jaws develop improperly with mouth breathing, but we also get sick more often. Our noses have an amazing filter to protect us from all the nasty stuff in the air out there. Our noses also bring the air to the proper temperature for our bodies, and most importantly, nose breathing is essential in regulating the gases, such as carbon dioxide and oxygen, in our bloodstream, which in turn influences arterial pH, which we know is critical for optimal health. So what should we do for Susie, who's 8 years old and has crowded teeth? Well, the very first thing we need to do is address her mouth breathing habit, and this is done in a Buteyko Breathing Course, which Susie attends with her parents, and she learns the importance of nose breathing and is given the tools to be able to do just that. Then we may need to do some appliance therapy for her to expand her upper or lower jaws, and we may do myofunctional therapy as well, which is a series of exercises to train her how to position her tongue and lips. The goal of all this is to equip Susie with the ability to have good oral posture so that she won't need braces in the future. She won't end up with TMJ problems or sleep apnea down the road, because as it turns out, TMJ and sleep apnea are often a result of poor oral posture already from childhood. What I'd really like to emphasize, though, is that it all comes down to the airway and breathing. The appliances that are made of acrylic and wires that we use to get the teeth and jaw into position will not hold the teeth there forever unless we address the underlying cause of poor oral posture, meaning the forces the tongue and lips and cheeks exert. And poor oral posture is very often due to mouth breathing. In essence, then, a mouth breathing habit will affect jaw and face formation, the positioning of the teeth, as well as so many other health-related aspects of our bodies. Remember, breathing is critical to life. We breathe on average 20,000 times a day. Not breathing properly is going to dramatically affect so many parts of ourselves. As Dr. Buteyko said, breathe as though your life depends on it, because it really does. I just want to mention one more thing. If anyone is interested in more information about this topic, you can check the website orthotropics.com or facefocused.com. These are both excellent websites which explain in greater detail what I just spoke about today. So thanks again for having me, and I really enjoy your program.
Well, thank you, Birgit. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to that the YouTube piece that you're going to be putting up in a couple of months. And I'll let everybody know if you stay in touch with me and sign on my newsletter on my website, ButeykoNYC.com. When that is available, I will let you know so that you'll be able to see this incredible video that we saw at the convention. So thank you again, Birgit.
Yes.
Keep up
Thanks
the great
for
work.
having me.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye-bye.